Hey, it's Scott Tempesta with Sailing Anarchy. We're back with another one of our retro boat videos. No, it's not this. We're not doing power boats yet. Today I got a total treat for you. I mean, you may know the boat. If you're a West Coast California guy, you certainly know the boat. You might remember it from when it was new 28 years ago, which is just absolutely hard to believe, especially when you look at this boat. I'd like you to say hello to the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes.
1, 2, 3, listen.
Here I am on the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes. This boat was formerly known as Morning Glory when it was first launched. Built by McConaughey, owned by Hasso-Plattner from SAP fame. He went on to, after he raced this boat and won virtually everything with it, he went on to build a Reichel Pugh 80, also called Morning Glory. Hasso and his daughter are now in the TP52 class with each boat's named Phoenix. So he stayed about in the same size range, mostly. And this is just an amazing example of a boat that is an IMS boat, which you wouldn't know. Mostly the IMS boats weren't necessarily all that pretty. Kind of high freeboardy, little bulky, but in typical John Reichel fashion, he drew a boat here that is so gorgeous that to this day, it still looks modern and it's still a really, really fast boat. The owner, Dennis Pinnell, and his captain, John Craig, have kept the boat fabulous. It's one of the fastest boats here. It always has been, well sailed. But more importantly, it's just how impressive this thing is from a deck layout. So obviously the big center wheel, perfect. One thing that's interesting about this rig is it's got, if you go up the rig, it's essentially got 3 sets of runners, if you will. There's the lower check stays, there's the normal check stays at the hound, and then there's the masthead check stays as well. And it's got a permanent backstay that they don't really use that much on this boat. Everything happens here. It's all integrated together, so when you adjust one, you're adjusting them all together. That's kind of how dialed in they have this particular rig. Obviously, it's a pretty important feature back here, especially considering that they don't really use a backstay. It's there, but it doesn't really do a lot. These are what does everything. Nicely led to split winches here. So you've got the guy doing runners, can be tactician as well on this boat, I suppose, or if you've just got a guy just doing specific runner duty, which they probably do, he sits here, helmsman here, tactician back here as well. And that basically is the patio on the back of the boat. So it's nice for the owner because he doesn't have a lot of people in his way, except for people here, but it's got a relatively nice position here. So even for me, standing here steering the boat, you know, it's great visibility and there's not much to get in the way back here. Nobody really get in your way. So it's a fabulous steering slash runner tactician area right back here, isolated from the cockpit, but yet integrated with the whole thing. Stepping just a couple feet forward, you'll notice how nicely isolated the main sheet trimmer area is. He's obviously, main sheet is split end, comes to 2 winches right here, and then you've got all the controls here, Cunningham, outhaul, Vang. So when the mainsail is sitting, he's got his own footrest as well. When he's sitting here, say we're on starboard tack going upwind, you know, he's trimming a little bit, and then any adjustments he needs, he can just reach in here and do it. So again, and he's sitting right next to, he's right in front of the helmsman, which is so great. So you think about the communication center on this boat, right? So the guy trimming runners, you know, he's maybe getting a little bit of help from the main sheet trimmer. The tactician's right there, and then the helmsman is right there. So, you know, just great ways to be able to like talk quietly, and unless I'm on the boat, then it's super loud and it turns into a shit show, but that's a whole nother story. And so he can sit here and trim the main, and the helmsman can say, I need a little more helm, I need a little bit more bite, and he's able to do that right here. Traveler controls as well. So it's really a nice place for sort of having the, I wouldn't call it, yeah, you could call it the brain trust. I'm not, because I don't want to denigrate the trimmers, although they always just get yelled at anyway. But so to have this part of the boat being so nice and open, yet so together and in a comfortable way, it's a really efficient way to do this. I love it. I absolutely love it. If you go slightly forward, you have, of course, a grinder on this boat. And it's the grinder, I'm the monkey. And so this is how you trim all of your head sails, right? Any of your Genoas, any of your spinnakers. You know, when it's really breezy, you have two people, right? And if not, you can have just one guy on the grinder. And when you do long distance races, which this boat has done, I think it's done Cabo and Manzanillo, this boat won its class Transpac in 1993. So basically, this is a permanent feature for anybody. You come up from down below or you rotate people on deck, you're gonna spend some time on the handles because it's just the only way to efficiently bring in the kite. You're going down waves, you know, you gotta crank the kite in and then, you know, the trimmer will ease it out. So this is a natural, easy way to do it. You'll find this on almost any sort of fast, I don't know, 45 footer and up. The bigger boats have multiple sets of grinders. They raise the main halyard with it. They do all kinds of stuff with it. Not sure exactly what they do here, but there you go. Again, really nice space for the trimmers to be. This is the permanent backstay we talked about, and it's in its resting state is very representative of its actual working state. It doesn't do a whole lot up there. Again, those three sets of the masthead, the runners, and the checks control all the mast bend and the control and keep the thing in the boat. So again, the trimmer, you know, the grinder's here. The trimmer can, you know, he can sit right here also, and he can look forward, see the Genoa, trim right here, and then it opens up yet another area for the pit. And people that are doing the halyards, the other adjustments that are up there forward, the pit people can do that. So and I never really thought about it until I got on the boat, and it's just so nicely thought out. I mean, it looks simple because it is, but it's uncomplicated, and that's really a big key to getting around and making boats like this go fast. Good trim, efficient trim, immediate trim, great ways to communicate, and this is essentially the cockpit of Blue Blazes. Mid-deck on the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes, a signature of a John Reichel design boat is beauty, simplicity, and you can see how nice and clean all of this is. I find it just so attractive, nicely rounded, you know, good-looking windows. This is command central for all the halyards right here that go through the organizers, and then you use those winches to adjust them. What's great about that is this is just halyard location, and then as I said earlier, all of the mainsail controls are back there, so the mainsail trimmer has everything right at his disposal. The boat obviously has a carbon fiber rig. I don't know if it's obvious because 28 years ago, maybe it wasn't necessarily what you did. They did. It's the original rig, which is really quite a testament to this thing, especially one so tall, relatively small section with a giant mainsail. There's a lot of load on all the parts on the boat, not the least of which is the actual spar. 28 years later, still standing strong. I think it's absolutely great. Relatively new rod rigging on the boat because you simply have to. Carbon fiber spinnaker pole, duh. Again, keeping with the simplicity theme. I mean, look, yes, the fore guy and the tack lines aren't run for the spinnaker, but geez Louise, I mean, it's really impressive. If you come a little further forward, you can see the boat, they've added a sprit to it because this boat now carries asymmetrical spinnakers as well as symmetrical, mostly asymmetrical. So they added on, what is that, about a 3-foot sprit? I would have added about 12 feet if it was mine, but nobody asked me. But you have to get a 70-foot slip to fit this thing in. So they tack all their ASOs there. Boat's got a really excellent complement of asymmetrical spinnakers. I was talking with John Craig. We went through the list of all the things they've got and just how this boat is just so dialed in. I mean, no matter the wind angle, no matter the wind strength, no matter the course, no matter the purpose, right? Whether you're VMG sailing, whatever it is, this boat just has a completely dialed in inventory for spinnakers. This boat maintains its sail inventory rather regularly, which is really a nice feature. Some guys just go, oh, that sail's good enough. It's nice that the owner here, Dennis Pinnell, goes, no, let's get a new one. So I think that's That's how I do it, basically. But again, nobody asked me. This is essentially the cockpit of Blue Blazes. Down below, the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes. Obviously a very purposeful race boat. This right here, it's not the stripper pole. I mean, I don't know why they didn't paint it silver. That's what I would have done. This is for the kelp cutter. The ownership history of this boat is interesting. Did you know Dennis Conner owned this boat? He did. He bought it from Hassel-Plattner, raced it down here. But one thing you have to have in San Diego if you're gonna go racing or even sailing, you need a kelp cutter. And this goes down and clears all the kelp off the leading edge of the keel on this boat. It's a must-have. A little bit forward here, you see like, wow, what's all this? Well, remember all the controls I talked about at the little pod for the mainsail trimmer, right? The out haul, bang, whatever else. So they all run through here, go down underneath the floorboards, all the way out, pop back out, and that's where they're trimmable from right there. So that kind of is what this area is here. The galley, yeah, you'd call it minimalist, but it's got an oven, it's got a sink. So the question is, does it have refrigeration? We're gonna find out. Coming forward, here it is. Enclosed head, which is kind of nice. If this was built today, that head would be sitting right here in the open. They wouldn't bother with any of this enclosure just to save weight and make it really uncomfortable for people who have to be up here and the whole crew can watch them. Sail storage here. Interesting fact, Kevlar boat. You don't see many Kevlar built boats anymore. They're almost all carbon. Kevlar is amazing, but it has a tendency, interestingly enough, to go a little soft sometimes. So this boat, McConaughey built, as I said, incredible structure. They tell me there's virtually zero softness with the boat, and I believe it. It's just super well done. Let's go aft a little bit because I want to show you the real guts of the boat. Purpose-built boat, purpose-designed boat. This boat was designed to do a lot of offshore racing. Check that out. Boom, both sides, port and starboard. I mean, wherever you need the crew weight, however stacked you need it, what side you need it, how many you need it, here it is. I mean, it's very, very impressive. Super efficient way to get people here, here, and there. Just like, yeah, of course that's how you would do it on a boat like this. All right, navigation station. It's quite nice. You just step on this and straddle the pony. Boom, there you are. It's comfortable, fits most people, I'm sure, except you can't be too tall. You strap the laptop here and you've got all your files, everything right here. Navigators don't like to be bothered. They don't want every jackass on the boat going, hey, how's it looking? Like, so you back here, they're up there, hopefully, and you can quietly do your work right here. It's really nice. I mean, I think probably it'd be good if you had a opening port here, so you could say, hey, you know, this is happening, and they could hear it, but that's not the way this boat is. But again, isolated, nice. It's where you want the navigator to be, out of the way, and you also can't get wet here. That's a big problem with a lot of boats. They put the nav stations either side slightly forward. Well, water can come through the hatch, and you know, people get wet, instruments, charts, if they still use charts. So here, everything's dry, and it's a great place to be. Now, earlier I said, where's the sink? I mean, the sink is there. Where's the ice chest? Is there a place? You won't believe this. Check it out. So you lift this up. Right here, that's refrigeration. That is actually where they store, well, you can see what they store. They keep that nice and cold. Oh, but there's more. So refrigeration isn't quite enough on a boat when you're going offshore. So here, they have a freezer. So, I mean, it's a perfect place. Obviously, you store meals there, pre-made meals if you're doing long distance races, if they're not eating space food. And knowing what I know about this crew, they're not eating space food. So where's the weight? Low. Where is it? Center of the boat. And super efficient. I mean, you just go in there and get what you want, and that's it. I think it's a clever little way to do that. You know, this is where you would want to be if you're doing an offshore race. Just plenty of place to sleep. Easy galley here, and then just get your drinks and your frozen steaks right there. This is down below the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes. That's it. All right, so that concludes this episode of Retro Boat. Again, it's the Reichel Pugh 50 Blue Blazes, a magnificent thing. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you like it, hit that like button, and you really should subscribe to our channel. We have more than this. I don't know how, 10 or so, and we got more in the can. Just go ahead and subscribe. There you go. For Nobleman Productions and for Sailing Anarchy, I'm Scott Tempesta. We're out.